Hi, my name is Paul Silverman, a Houston Realtor. Welcome to our Buyer and Seller Series videos. Today we're going to be talking about designing your home. And I've brought with me today Gail Greenwood from Greenhall & Associates, who I've had the privilege of working with for a long time. So Gail, give our audience just a little idea of your background and kind of what you've done in this field.
Sure, Paul. I grew up in the home furnishings industry in North Carolina, and that's where my love of design was established and grew. I have actually been in the design business for 30 years here in Houston, Texas, and started out with one of the largest privately owned builders here in Houston, went into business on my own, and I have had the pleasure of working for some of the largest national builders and working from East Coast to West Coast.
And I'll definitely say does some amazing work. So,
oh, thank you.
Gail, when it comes to this field, I have a lot of clients come to me and say, what is the difference? We hear so many terms. We hear stager, designer, decorator, and to kind of the average person, it all seems the same. So what is the difference between those?
Yeah. That's a lot of semantics, and there's a lot of overlapping. There are people who do staging that don't do any design work. To start from the top and work down, a designer is someone who is licensed, obviously carries a degree in design, and they can actually go into a space, design for the client, do space planning, as well as make interior selections, do furniture as well. Someone that is strictly an interior decorator is someone that goes into a space or a home and will do furnishings, furniture, artwork, draperies, but they don't normally do design work, removing walls, that type of thing, changing structural type things. People who stage, designers who are decorators who stage, can be a decorator or a designer, but do staging as well.
Okay.
They normally go into homes that realtors like yourself want to sell, want to make more appealing, and if it's an empty structure, they can go in and they can vignette. They can actually put in rooms of furniture. Some people, even as simple as just if the house is furnished, go through and make changes in the way the house, the furnishings are arranged, so that it will make it more appealing to the people coming through. Yeah.
Okay. So just watching a lot of HGTV doesn't make you a designer, I guess?
No, afraid not. And yeah, that's a real sore subject. So no.
Okay. What role does a designer play in helping someone sell or move into their new home?
As to selling the home, if you have a good relationship starting with the person that's selling the home, it may be a little easier process because, it's such a personal experience.
Right.
Your home is the most personal thing you have and private thing you have. And sometimes it's hard to get people that have loved their home to understand that what they have loved may not be appealing to the mass market out there.
Right.
So you have to be very careful about how you approach them and say, we want to sell this home. We want to make it much more attractive or more attractive to a mass market, and just establishing that so they'll go with what you suggest. So you have to be careful there sometimes when you approach that.
Okay, and is it any different when they're buying versus selling?
When people are buying, the first thing I would ask them is, how do you want to live in this house? How do you live?
Right.
And show me some of the pieces that you have, what's important to you. And I discuss and talk a lot with my clients in advance, because the most important thing at that time that I can do is listen to my client.
Right, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. So I know we all hate law of averages, but rough idea, what does it cost to stage and redesign a home?
Well, that's going to depend on what which phase, like I was saying, we were going to do. If you have a home that's empty, but it's a nice home, but you just want to create a little bit of a feel of someone there, you may just accessorize the kitchen, bathrooms, maybe vignette with a chair here or there, and that can be done for as little as $500 to $700, because when when the house sells, all that comes back out, and that person will take that and recycle it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it can be done very affordably. If you're wanting to put furniture in several of the rooms, which you would really never furnish an entire house to stage it.
Right.
You just pick your hot spots, and that could run more of $1,500 to lease and to
Okay.
have furniture in there
Okay.
to sell.
Okay. A lot of times when I meet with sellers, a big thing to me is child safety. So
Yeah.
the names have to be down off the walls, but a lot of times they'll ask things like, do I need to take down pictures? So what is just kind of some basic advice you would give sellers as far as, how much do they take their personality out of it versus kind of keeping it in to kind of show the livability of the home?
Right. I do suggest that people remove their personal photographs, especially those of children. I think that's important. And for one thing, you don't want people, when they're going through, to focus on that, and you want them to see the house. But I do advise people to remove that because, like you, I think safety is extremely important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good answer. So when it comes time to kind of accent or decorate a home, what is the easiest ways? Like, where do people get the most bang for their buck?
Honestly, the biggest bang for your buck is repainting.
Okay.
Yeah, that automatically makes things look fresher. It's one of the least expensive things you can do. Depending on if they're putting it on the market, having a designer or stager or whomever they may select go through and say, I think we can pull this out, move this here, do whatever. That will help a lot as well if they're preparing to sell for resale. But painting by far will give you the biggest bang for your
Okay.
buck.
Yeah, and that's, we kind of have that challenge sometimes when we go into list or even showing buyers homes. We walk in and they've taken your great advice, but they didn't pick the colors with
right
you. And
color.
we walk in. Are there any? It's either a color issue or they've used very high gloss paint. Is there any kind of general colors or anything that people should stay away from?
I would stay away from very saturated colors, such as right now oranges and turquoise and yellows are very, very popular. Oranges. But those are not what you want to go in and paint your dining room,
Right, that's
or something like that. Stay away from the very saturated colors. Go with the more muted tints on the wall. Use a green, but more of a tinted green. Neutrals, grays, beiges. Anything will work with that. You need to. You're thinking more of the mass appeal then.
Yeah, I recently walked into a home with some buyers and actually ended up buying the home, and they had, I believe it was a maroon dining room and a burnt orange kitchen. So
Well, that appealed to something, didn't
yeah,
it?
it's definitely a house divided. So
yeah.
Again, you and I have worked a long time, and when you did all those beautiful models for us when we were in the building industry together, people would come in all the time and ask, where do you get all that neat stuff?
Yeah.
So where do you get it from?
Well, in my particular case, I do buy direct from my wholesalers, and which makes it very, very easy for me. I get that question quite a bit as well. Honestly, one of the best places that you can go is to Marshall's. They carry really nice accessories there, lamps and pieces. Of course, we have a lot of wonderful accessory stores in Houston, but if you're looking for something at a good buy, that's a wonderful place to start.
Okay.
So that would be my suggestion.
Okay. And just speaking of model homes, rough guess, I got this question all the time. What does it cost to furnish a model home? Just average size.
Right. If it's a 3-bedroom model, and it's depending on the builder, because different builders are going to spend different money.
Right.
But let's just say if the house is 2,800 square feet, you're looking at somewhere between $55,000-$65,000 to do a model.
Wow. That's amazing.
And that's an average. That's not top of But
yeah.
But that's
Wow.
what it. But that when you walk out at that price, when I walk out of a project, it looks like people are living there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can definitely
Yeah.
attest to that.
Uh-huh.
So, our final question actually has to do with new construction. A lot of times buyers will get down to a design center, and obviously I represent them great in trying to find the builder, pricing, model, stuff like that, but we get to the design center and a lot of times they have designers that work there. They're no Gale, let's just say. What role do you play when it comes to new construction, whether it's production or custom, or maybe it's you pick up halfway during the process. What role do you play in that?
You know, I have actually, people that know me or have referred me, I've actually gone with buyers to the design gallery, even though there is a designer that they will be working with, but I go with them because they want to be sure they're making the right decision and they want additional input. So I have done that, and you know, they pay me directly, and of course they get so many hours there, but I've been brought in to look at selections afterwards to see that everything looks good, it's going to work the way they want it to work, but always, you know, designers are always available to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good information. Well, I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching our video. We're going to put Gail's contact information now. She's not necessarily a design hotline that you can call and ask any questions, but if you need to hire the absolute best there is in Houston, then go ahead and call Gail, and thanks again for tuning in.